Hi, this is Michael. Thanks for joining me today. I am working on some cabinets. I'm refinishing some kitchen cabinets. There's quite a few of them, and I go through taking off all the doors, hardware, and then priming and painting the cabinets. You want to make sure you get a good bonder sealer primer before you actually do the cabinet paints. And I'm using some cabinet paint, and it was great. I'm really pleased with the outcome and the way that it transformed this kitchen. Thanks so much, and please comment below if you have any questions during the video, and I hope your project goes well, and I hope your project goes well too, and stay tuned, and thanks so much.
I set up in the garage plastic area so when I paint the doors and drawers that I'll be able to have a good clean spot after I'm done. Here's some supplies that I'm using: sandpaper, plastics. I got some primer and then some actual cabinet paint as well. There's the primer. It's kind of like a bonding sealer type thing. Without that, stains go right through the primer. And then this cabinet furniture paint it's awesome. I love it. And some masking tape and some other things. So here's what the cabinets look like, kind of like a brownish color. And first thing I did was I went through with some blue tape and marked all the cabinets and drawers and everything to make sure I put them back in the same location. And I labeled them from left to right. And so I put, for example, LU1 is left side upper cabinet number 1. And then I do the next one would be U2, which is upper cabinet number 2. And then U3, 4, 5, etc. And then the last one I would put RU16 or whatever. So I did that kind of the lowers as well. I did L1, L2, A3 for lower cabinet 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking off all the doors, and eventually I'll do the door or the drawers as well. And after I get them all done, later on I take off all the hardware from them. I'm labeling the drawers where they go because I'm going to go put them in the garage where I put all that plastic down so I can actually paint them. And I have a box and then another box on top you'll see later on. And it's kind of a nice setup in the garage. After I removed all the doors and drawers, I used sander, which kind of broke on me, and so right after that, I used it to just sand by hand. I wish I didn't have it broken. I would have probably sanded it with a power sander the whole way. Just FYI, if you have cabinets that have been painted prior, the chances are they probably use some sort of latex paint. So when you start sanding, it could gum up or strip or peel or whatnot. So just careful of that. Once you start sanding, you might get into some issues that you might have to spend a little bit more time to fix and repair and things like that. One thing you may want to do is cover up your items inside the doors and drawers to prevent the sanding, the dust from getting on the things. After the sanding, I covered everything up so I could start painting. And right before just sanding the uppers, making sure things are um, nice and sanded. There's some sandpaper I used to do the sanding. So I went through and kind of remarked things. Um, I actually need to paint these, and so I need to actually um, do a little differently. And so what I did was um, remove the piece of tape right before sanding, and then sanded everything. So after I sanded, I made sure I vacuumed really well each door, making sure all the little pieces are removed from the door because I didn't want the doors to look kind of funny. And then I used a permanent marker and marked the location underneath one of the hinge locations. And then I took a little blue piece of tape, covered that up, so when I painted, it would just paint right over. And then later on, you'll see that I removed that piece of blue tape, and so I know exactly where to put that door and drawers after I'm done painting. And then so what I did was I started with the frame. So I painted the actual cabinet that was actually installed in place before the doors and drawers. You could do however you want to do it. And this is primer, obviously. You want to make sure it's nice and sealed prior to any actual paint or finished paint. And I'm going to be doing one coat of primer and then 2 coats of the white cabinet paint. The left side of the room where it doesn't have cabinet paint, um, I stopped because I needed to remove a cabinet, upper cabinet that was falling apart. I used a roller for the long, larger sections because it's just a better finish than a paintbrush. And then here's me painting the doors. Um, there's a lot of brush work, and then I used roller to just smooth out the brush area on the flat surfaces. As you see in the background, I have the doors on 2x3s to have them off the ground. Felt like they kind of dried a little faster than the ones just sitting on the ground, and plus, I don't want the finishes to be destroyed. And then after the primer and painting, and this is painting I believe it's probably the first coat on the drawer fronts. What was nice about the doors, or excuse me, drawers, I was able to use a roller on all of them, and it looked pretty good afterwards. Here's me after the paint has dried and sat, I took off the blue tape to reveal where the location of the door is. And so that was upper cabinet number 2. But when here's me removing the door, or sorry, an upper cabinet by the fridge to get it removed and finished on the one side where I needed to finish. After I removed that cabinet, I primer painted that side of the cabinet to make it look like it was made to be there. Here's the right before painting. I just dumped out the paint into my tray and used the tray for both brush and roller. I used a roller that was 4-inch, made for or designed for doors and cabinets. I always try to pour my paint on the word side or the back side where it has the instructions, because I want to see what kind of sheen and what type of paint it is before, or later on when I need to refer back to it. Here's a coat of the cabinet paint on the cabinet frames. So this whole refacing the cabinets took me about 50 hours all total. It's a lot of work, but you'll see later on that it's really a great transformation. Really changed the space and the feel of the kitchen. Sometimes I had to use a little tiny brush to get the fine tuning of certain spots. Here's just kind of a detailed look at rolling. Now we're going to be installing the hardware on the doors. And then once those doors the door hinges are installed, we're able to install the doors on the actual cabinet frames that are on the wall. These hardware that I've been using, whoever painted the cabinets prior, there was a lot of paint on the hardware, so I used steel wool to kind of clean up everything. I also had to use a wire brush as well, just to clean up some stuff, but most of it came off by the steel wool. And it actually cleaned up really nice afterwards. Part of installing these older cabinets is fine tweaking the cabinet so everything lines up and the reveals nice around the actual cabinets. And be careful when you're using an electric drill because um, you could over tighten things and strip the wood. Oh, and prior to paint priming and stuff, I actually filled in some holes and imperfections in the cabinetry before installing this to the point. Here's just a detailed look at installing the upper cabinets next to the sink. And as you can see, like, this is really different compared to the, I don't know, the tannish or beige or whatever that they were before. The white really makes it stand out and look nice. Oh, and here's the shot of me cleaning up the hardware. As you can see, a lot of the hardware had paint painted on the hinges, and I just had to clean them up and kind of get them out. And I used various, screwdrivers and then steel wool and wire brush. And here I am installing the holes for the drawers and doors. And towards the end of the video here, but just wanted to put a plug in saying that feel free to look at my other videos. There's quite a bit of things that I do for my business and also personal stuff that I like to post because, I mean, I might do something a little different that you haven't thought of, and it just helps you out. If not, and I know that in construction, everybody does it differently, and everybody has an opinion about how another contractor has done it. And don't forget to share this video with those around you. And this is the final product. I wish I kind of flashed back to the beginning where it used to be and then back to this, but this is what it looks like, and what a great transformation. I'm really happy about how it turned out. You could go one step further and just strip the paint completely off before painting and make a really, really nice finish.
Alright, thanks for watching. This cabinet refinish was probably about a week and a half full-time work. There is some wait time, so I would try to, at the end of the day, have paint done so it would set overnight and kind of cure or harden before the next day, so I could do some stuff on the next step for the refinishing. And then also make sure you have a well-heated area and ventilated as well. Thanks so much, and don't forget to like and comment below, and then subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks, and have a great day.